gentlemen, 938 Live presents No Limits with Nick Vujicic. Give him a warm round of applause.
Hi, Singapore. Hello. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the warm welcome. It is my privilege and honor to be here tonight. I want to thank all the sponsors, especially MediaCorp and the people and friends that have enabled me to come to Singapore. This is my 7th time, and so I know Singlish, right? Yeah. It's good lah, huh? Yeah? Oh, thank you. I get a round of applause for that. As you've seen me on the media, it's been absolutely fantastic. We had a wonderful time with the President of Singapore this morning, the Defense Minister about an hour ago backstage, and I've just felt so much welcome from 938 Live and everyone and all the media. So thank you, Singapore, for loving me, and I want to tell you that this is not my last time to Singapore, and I don't know if it's going to be next year or the year after. But one of these years, I definitely want to bring my wife and my son. They say hello to you. And I'm very well aware that many people have seen YouTube videos. Maybe you've seen me on media. Maybe you've seen me speaking in different venues. And tonight I want to purely motivate you and inspire you to be all that you can be. I'm going to give you 8 principles. I know Singapore, 8's a good number, right? And so I wanna share with you some 8 basic principles that really has transformed me in how I think and how I have been successful. And not to say that I am a superhero at all. I don't even see myself as a great person. I see myself just like you, going through the ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And, you know, I have my ups and downs in my life. There are many things that I need to continue to work in me, in my personality at times. I get frustrated, you know, with little things just like you. But what I've realized, basically, the points that actually limit our full potential, most of the time, it's our fault for putting limitations on our full potential. So I want to help you to really have an honest perspective of who you are, what you have, where do you want to go, who do you want to be, and how do you get there. I have a sense of humor that people sort of don't know exactly should they laugh or should they not, especially, you know, adults, they don't know what to do. Do they shake my hand? I'm just a hugging machine. I hug everyone. And the scary thing about hugging so many people is that someone can just pick me up and take me home. We broke the Guinness Book of World Records last year for how many hugs we did in an hour. 1,749 hugs. Yeah, thank you. My arms fell off, yeah? But I love freaking people out as well. We really do have fun. We look at our life. My family, you know, looks at my life, and I look at their life as, you know, there are interesting things that happen, and some things you cannot change, and those are things you need to accept, and then try and change the things you can change. And so with the people's perception of, you know, should they have a conversation with me or not, humor was always something where I used as an icebreaker. And, you know, I sometimes take it a little bit too far, you know, like, you know, I get my friends to put me in the overhead compartment of the plane and freak people out as they get on. The greatest plane trick we did actually was last year. I was speaking at a very, very large church, and I joked about how fun it would be to dress me up as a pilot and greet the passengers as they got on the plane. A commercial airline pilot emailed us at the office and said, "Let's do it." And I'm thinking, well, okay, if we get in trouble, no one's going to handcuff me, right? So one day on a 6 a.m. flight from Texas, Dallas, we were flying to California in Los Angeles. 6 a.m. flight, people walking down the jetway. You know that little jetway on the way to the plane? People having their coffee, right? They're sort of half asleep. And they come up to the plane and they see me. I say, good morning, how are you? Welcome aboard. My name is Captain Nick Vujicic, and I'm going to be flying the plane today. And they're like, what? They're like, are you serious? I'm like, yes. They're like, how do you do that? And I said, and they said, was that brainwave technology? And I said, yeah. Just pray that I don't get distracted, you know. They're freaking out. I said, yes, I'm a little nervous myself. My palms are a little sweaty. So he brought everyone on the plane, and everyone's sort of like chit-chatting, like, seriously, did you see that guy? Yeah, oh my gosh, is he seriously flying the plane? And I walk on the plane, and I get the microphone like the pilot, you know, and ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a wonderful flight to Los Angeles. The weather is quite fine with not much turbulence. And everyone is freaking out. They're sticking their head down the aisle. They're like, ah! And then I said, I'm just joking. And they're like, ah! I went down the plane to interview some people on the camera. It was very, very funny. Some people were very tempted to wait for the next flight. The funniest story I can tell you is one day I was in a car and we're at the traffic lights and I'm the front passenger side and this car comes up next to us and this girl's looking at me. And I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and this is before I'm married, of course. And all she sees is my head, right? She doesn't see the rest of my body, so just imagine all you see is my head. I get the seatbelt in my mouth and I loosen it like this so then I can freely move. So she's seeing this head bite the seatbelt, and she's like, now I have 100% undivided attention. And now I can move, and I let go of the seatbelt, and I just did this. Just imagine all you see is my head. I just did this. And she thought my head did a 360-degree spin. She was like, ah! It was very, very funny. So, you know, I sometimes freak kids out, you know. Some kids come up and say, what happened? And I say, cigarettes. So I have many times where I have, you know, used humor to break the ice or just have fun and make sure I don't go too far. But I do literally love life. There are things in life where things get you so unexpectedly. Circumstances, and I'm not immune to that at all. In fact, 2.5 years ago, I heard it's now #1 in your top 10 books, Unstoppable, here in Singapore. And in that book, I talk about how I went through a breakdown, a burnout, about 2.5 years ago. Between years 2007 and 2010, I spoke 1,000 times, 600 flights. They say I run so fast, I leave my legs behind. And I had some plans to create some businesses, so then with that profit of that business, then I can give towards my nonprofit organization ministry, which takes me around the world, and I'm allowed to talk about my faith. And we've given away $500,000 away to the needy. We have seen some encouragement given to sex slaves. We've given money away to orphanages. And I've been to 49 countries, and I've seen a lot of pain. And I wanted to really give more to the world, but I couldn't keep on speaking at the pace I was. So I thought, okay, if I keep up that pace and start a couple businesses, then I don't have to keep asking people for money, because we don't know where the bills are going to get paid in 8 weeks. For those of you who have a, you know, non-profit, it's exactly non-profit. There is no profit in that. And so we know that, you know, we need more support to help the world, because the world needs a lot of help. Well, when my businesses failed, it was 12 weeks into my relationship with my wife. We were dating, and our love stories in that book as well, of course. It was love at first sight. Fireworks were in the air. And when I told her that I was broke and I lost all my money, I had a cash flow crisis, a $210,000 cash flow little hole there, and it just took me down. For-profit motivational company, attitude is altitude. I had no money left, and I had to give up a lot of stuff that I thought was going to work out, and I'm thinking, man, what am I going to do? Did I really make really bad choices, or was it just bad luck, or where did I go wrong, and what can I learn from it? In the end, I told my wife, I'm broke. Crying, 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 panic attacks, hair falling out of my head. I was I was going through a dark time. So I want you to first know that I'm just like you. Again, ups and downs, right? But you get through it. You know that the strength that I have today is only because of yesterday's pain. Does that make sense? If I didn't have the challenges that I had, then I wouldn't have had the courage to keep on going, and that courage gave me strength, which gave me strength to go through those valleys that prepare me for the valleys ahead. Life is not about going from a valley to a mountain. Life is all about going through valleys and mountains and valleys and mountains. About good days and bad days. Learning about yourself, learning about life, trying to communicate love to everyone around you as best as you can. Trying to find purpose, trying to find the truth of the meaning of life. And when I told her I had no money, she didn't flinch at all. She said, it's okay, I'll get a nursing job and support the both of us. That's when I knew, and I saw that reciprocated love, how much she's committed to me, that it's not on anything. I knew that, all right, she loves me the way that I am, but man, I was thinking, geez, this is not a good time to be depressed. 12 weeks into our relationship, she said, it's all good, I'm not going anywhere. And that's when I knew she was going to be my wife, and 12 months into our dating, I proposed to her. And we put the ring in a cream puff, you know, the little cake, yeah? And we made about 21 of them. I got it from the bakery. I got one of my friends to make sure the ring's in the one with the sugar coating. And so I got her to feed me the one with the sugar coating. And it was so big, but I had to put it all in my mouth. And I ate it all. And then I tried to get rid of all the cream off the ring. And then I said, baby, let me kiss your hand. And I look at her left hand, so she brings her left hand. I go, mwah, 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 mwah. And I get to her ring finger, and I, go all the way down her finger. And she's thinking I'm getting kinky, right? She's like, what's going on, right? And I pull away, and she sees the ring, and she starts crying. And I said, baby, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? And for 2 minutes, she cried, and I said, so... And then she said, yes, 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 and it was the best day of our life. Many people want to avoid pain. Many people want to avoid the valleys, but without the valleys, we would not be who we are today. Yeah, without the failures, we wouldn't have the wisdom that we have today. And so that is life. Unexpected things, big things, small things. Now my business has recovered, and we're continuing to keep on going. I dreamt ahead. I did too many things. You know, some people who are just multitaskers and they just never sleep, and everybody's like saying, yeah, that's everyone in Singapore, you know. There's no such thing as overworked in Singapore. If you're working more than you need to, it's because of your inefficiency. And that's how hard life gets, with pressures of employers and deadlines and all these things, and then trying to balance work and family. I planned my life differently when I was single. I planned my life differently when I was married. And I planned my life different now that we have a 7-month-old son. This year, 24 countries. It's such an adventure. It's such an awesome, awesome year. But it's a very, very difficult year because we couldn't bring them along with me. And so I'm going to another 9 countries. After I go back, Singapore is my last stop. And then I go back home. Then I go do 9 countries in South America. And so this is a difficult year. So what I want to establish up front right now, I'm just like you. And you're like thinking, no, you're not. I am. And I want to get to the crux and the message of what I want to communicate today. I want to communicate today the truth of three things. I want you to understand that these are the most important things you need to find. The truth of your value is the first thing. That was so hard for me. Being thankful, that's point number one. So I'm going to give you 3 basics, and I'm going to give you 8 points. You with me? Some of you may take notes, some of you won't take notes. If you're not taking notes, I encourage you to take notes, because you're going to go home and your family's going to say, how was it? And you're going to say, it was awesome. What did he say? I don't know. So I encourage you to take notes while we're going. So the 3 ABCs of life, if you want, is the truth of your value. Okay? And the first point, the first key of knowing who you are, you first of all need to know that who you are is valuable, whether you have arms and legs or not, whether you're rich or not, no matter what nationality you have, no matter what religion you have, you are beautiful just the way that you are. I will never force anyone to be someone they are not. It is our choice. It is our free will. If you want to know something more about something, then go for it and explore, and you make your decision based upon that. But I want you to know that in your life, do not believe the lies of the truth of your value being devalued. I'm thinking as a kid, man, everybody else has arms and legs. Everyone else can run. I can't do this. I can't do that. You know what my parents said? It's okay. And I'm thinking, it's not okay. I was the first disabled child to go into the mainstream school system of Australia in 1990. And the truth of my value was watered down by all the lies. You know those people that you have in your life, that no matter how bad of a day you're having, that you know when you see them coming up to you and walking towards you, you're thinking, oh no, my day is just about to get worse. And no matter how bad of a day you have, they're going to make your day worse, right? On average, everybody has about 3 of those people somewhere, somehow in our sphere of influence. But they are not your greatest discouragers. You are your greatest discourager. It only takes 3 seconds for someone to plant a seed of lies in you, and you keep on remembering it and rehearsing it and repeating it, and then the more you hear it, the more you believe it. And so some kids who are bullying and teasing me, it's just seeds that grew, and it grew into a tree of lies. And the tree of lies I didn't get rid of in my mind, I didn't get rid of in my heart, because I didn't know the truth. How are you going to know the truth if you don't know? Sorry, how do you know that the lie is a lie until you know the truth? So I didn't know the truth. Yes, my mom told me I was beautiful. You know, so many daughters, they hear from their mom and dad, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And the daughters say, of course you're going to tell me I'm beautiful. I'm your daughter. And sometimes the teenagers put a do not disturb sign on their door, right? Parents, here's some great advice. Respect that sign. But go out the door, go around the house, stick your head through the window and say, you're beautiful. Because if you don't tell them that they're beautiful, who will? TV? Not likely. I want you to know today that we have to be deliberate with the next generation, not just character, but affirmation, not just education, but time spent with Father, Son. I know that I have 28,000 invitations for me to speak. I receive 200 invitations for me to speak every single week. If I wanted to, I could continue to be on the road as much as I want, but I chose that I am only doing 6 weeks of motivational speaking in 2013. It's already locked in, it's already booked, and I already know that it's only going to be 6 weeks in 2015. I know my balance. I know my schedule. I have worked so hard to get where I am, where I can choose my schedule and then invest 6 months of every year into my passion through my nonprofit organization. So I want you to know that there are times where you get busy. There are seasons. But what I want to make sure that no matter what success I'm going after, I need to keep the truth of my value right in me and in my family first. How will my son know that I love him? By how much money I give him? No. By what university he goes to? No. I had a dad who emphasized, and I have a dad who used to very much emphasize education. Nick, you got to get a B in mathematics. You got to get a B in mathematics. Forget about a C. You got to get to a B, and then I got a D. And he said, you got to get a B, not a D. And then I finally worked so hard, and I get a B, and I'm so excited, and I'm like, Dad, look, I got a B, I got a B. And he says, good. What does he next say? Now get an A. We all have those moments. Our parents can't always encourage us better than their parents encourage them. But I know that that's not an excuse. You see, love is communicated when I see you face to face, when I have time with you. You know who my dear friends are in America and my street and which neighbors I get along with and my family. We all spend time together. Everybody say time. Time is your greatest asset. I don't care if you're a billionaire, if you only got 5 minutes left and you don't know where you're going after this life, you are looking for something other than money. I was looking for arms and legs. I was looking for affirmation, and my mom and dad continued to plant those seeds of love in me. And that's the planting of seeds I want to do in my son's life. I want to spend time with him. I'm going to play video games with him. And yeah, when he becomes a teenager, maybe daddy's not going to be cool enough for him to hang out with anymore. I understand that happens in a lot of relationships. But he will know that I will keep on trying to connect with him, trying to talk with him, not just about homework, not just about career, and not just spending time with him when he's done something bad to give him a lecture. I know that my son will know how much his daddy loves him because that's what my dad did for me. And so as you have encouragement, it takes you closer to your full potential. Let that book for me represent my full potential. Encouragement brings you closer. Discouragement takes you away. And as I got teased at school, the tree of lies grew fruit of lies. Nick, you're not good enough. Nick, you're a burden to your parents. Nick, you can't do anything. Nick, you're not going to get a job. Nick, just give up. No one's going to marry you. You can't even hold your wife's hand if you get married. You can't even hold your kids when they're crying. What kind of a father is that? You're alone and you'll always be alone. Does anyone know the greatest emotion as far as influence? The greatest influence of emotions, above all emotions, is fear. F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. You've heard that one before, right? Faith, F-A-I-T-H, full assurance in the heart. Faith is believing something that you do not see, certain of things hoped for. I wanted to believe that there was a hope, but I couldn't see a hope. I didn't have any faith because I couldn't even give myself any value because I just listened to everyone else's opinion. There are two types of fear, and it's most likely that if you've ever thought of giving up, it's because of an irrational fear. Rational fears that my parents had was, well, what kind of You know, school, is he going to go to school? Is he going to get married? Yeah, but then my fear was like, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to be anybody. I'm never going to blah, 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 blah. Am I here today? Yes. Do I have a genuine, authentic smile today? Yes. Was my beautiful wife always coming in my life? Yes. My beautiful boy? Yes. Our future kids? Yeah, they're coming. The joy of being married, the joy of having a child. More than an excellent speaker, I want to be an excellent father. More than an excellent person who goes around and even talks about faith. More than that, I want to serve my wife first. If I can't be a good husband and a good father, I should not be going out there until I take care of my own home. And until I'm faithful with the first things, the primary things, then how can I ever communicate hope unless I've made sure that my home ground is safe and good and healthy? For me, when I was 10, nothing looked hopeful. And I tried to commit suicide at age 10 in 15 centimeters of water. I was teased all day at school, and I felt like there was going to be no hope. And the third time I rolled over in the bathtub, I was stopped by one thought. And it was the thought of seeing my mom and my dad crying at my grave, wishing that they could have done something more. And I didn't want to leave them with that pain, so I decided to stay. If my parents didn't tell me two things, that I'm beautiful the way that I am, and that they love me, I wouldn't be here today. Love, love, love saves and produces faith. Faith is trying to reach a potential you cannot see. Courage is strength when you don't feel like you can do it. For instance, if I jump off the table right now, that's actually a good idea. Let me try actually show you what courage is right now. Okay, ready? Everybody ready? Girls, are you ready? Boys, are you ready? Sparta! Right? Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm serious. No way. No way. Are you serious? No. If I did that, I'd break my arm or something, all right? But courage doesn't wait till you're not afraid. How do you get courage that gives you strength to do something while you're afraid? Well, here it is. If I'm on this stage and I'm in any room and I am alone and a fire is coming to me and no one's there to help me get off the table, will I jump off the table? Yes. What's changed? The same jump, the same pain, the same fear. One thing changed. Now I know why I need to do this. Purpose ignites courage. So it starts with love, then faith, then courage. And through the faith, you're trying to find the purpose you can't see yet. Does that make sense? Powerful string of words. And one day at a time, the first point I want to make out of the 8 is I am thankful. How can I get anywhere unless I know where I am? How can I do anything unless I know what I have first to do something with? My parents always said, stop being angry for what you don't have. Be thankful for what you do have. Well, the first point is attitude of gratitude. That's number 1. Point number 2 is you don't know what you can achieve until you try it. Point number 3, when I fail, try again. With these basic points, let's talk about the first thing. I was playing football one day, the real football, soccer, right? I love football. I can't wait for the World Cup. And the soccer ball is this height, and my friend is kicking the ball to me from way back. And he says, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yes." And I was quite nervous. My knees were shaking. And he gets ready and he goes, boom. This ball's coming right for me. And I'm like, ah, right? I don't know what to do. And you know when something's coming right for you and you're trying to work out which way to go, and then you also feel and realize that, hey, no matter where I go, this thing's going to hit me. So I'm thinking, I'm going to hit the ball before the ball hits me. So I'm thinking, maybe I can headbutt it. No, it's a bit too low. Maybe I can kick it. No, it's a bit too high. So I jump up in the air. Have you seen The Matrix? In slow motion. And while I was in the air, did a Karate Kid kick, and I went, like that. And the ball came, hit my foot, bent it backwards, and I heard a and my foot all of a sudden went, oh. I need this thing. I type 43 words a minute on a normal computer after 2 cups of coffee, 53 words a minute. I need this to walk. I need this to drive my wheelchair. I need this just like you need your arms and your legs. I was in bed, man, for 3 weeks. And a 13-year-old thinks 3 weeks is like 3 years. First time I felt disabled. You know what I realized? I need to be thankful for what I have. I am thankful that I was made with a foot. People believe in luck, chance, or coincidence. I don't believe that at all. I also don't believe, though, at the same time that you can just think up something and it's going to happen. You know, I just got to be a good person and then good things are going to happen. No, the rain falls on the righteous and the unrighteous. And what you believe in your life doesn't actually change or alternate the truth. See, there is a truth that Nick Vujicic was going to be a speaker. If the truth was Nick Vujicic was never going to be a speaker, then Nick Vujicic will be something else. But Nick Vujicic would always be Nick Vujicic. Nick Vujicic, who he is today, is the same Nick Vujicic before he was a speaker. And as long as Nick Vujicic tries to just find his full potential, not comparing to anyone else, he will live to his full potential. But you can say to me, well, yeah, Nick, but that can't be true, right? You can make your own possibilities. Well, what if I just said every day to the mirror, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm not going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a policeman. How? Not everything is what? Possible. But it is evident to me that if you put these principles in place, you will find your full potential. If you need to let a dream die, let the dream die, but don't die in the meantime. Kill the dream, let it be. If you still have the fire in your heart to keep on going for your dream, then keep on going. Just make sure you don't sacrifice all your family in the process. Don't lose your marriage over money. Don't lose your marriage over success. Don't lose your family because of stuff, because the greatest things in life are not things. Be yourself. Teenagers, don't change yourself. The truth is that I'm wonderfully and fearfully made. I talk to so many kids. I ask them, do you think that I'm cool? They're like, yeah, you're so cool. I said, can I be your friend? They're like, oh, yeah. And I said, but I have no arms and no legs. And they're going to say, it's okay. And I say, it's okay that I have no arms and no legs. It's okay. It doesn't matter how I look. They said, oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I said, then why do we tease each other for how we look? When you have goals, don't let your achievement define you. When you look a certain way, don't let your appearance define your value. Be the best you. Reach your full potential and take one day at a time. Be thankful for what you have. Think of the 3 dearest things in your life right now. You've got 60 seconds to live from now. Do your loved ones know how much they love you? And do they know how much you love them? And do you know how much they love you? 50 seconds left. Who did you not say sorry to yet? Who did you not forgive yet? Have you forgiven yourself of the past? 40 seconds. Think of those dearest people and make sure they know tonight how much you love them. Because tomorrow is not promised. Be thankful for your family. Be thankful for your dear ones first, because money can't buy that. Take one day at a time. Keep trying. You don't know what you can achieve until you try. And then Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb. You know what happened? He tried 10,000 times. You know what that means? He was successful once and failed 9,999 times. You know what he said? I never failed 9,999 times. Now I know 9,999 ways in how not to make a light bulb. That's point number 4. Failure equals education. Some failure is more expensive. But if I try 100 times to get back up and I can't get up, it's too hard. If I fail, am I a failure? No. Do you know how many people from ages 40 to 60 are still remembering what their fathers told them that were negative, and they're disabled emotionally and mentally from the things their father told them when they were only 10 years old? Words are powerful. I don't want to tear down someone with words. I want to build people up. I want to encourage people to be all that they can be. So I want to tell you today, if you told me that I am not a failure, even though I failed 100 times, then why do you ever give 1 second to the idea that you're a failure? You are not a failure. I don't care how you look. I don't care what you can do or cannot do. I don't care how many friends you have or not have. You are here for a reason. Do not give up, because you don't know what's around the corner. I'm not promising a better day, but I'm giving you hope even within your circumstance.
You can overcome.
Many people ask me, how did I become a speaker? Well, it's a very cool story. When I was 17, after school for an hour, I would chat with the cleaner because, you know, while he's cleaning, we can talk. I'm waiting for my taxi cab to take me home. We talked about everything. We talked about religion. We talked about life. We talked about everything. And he looked at me one day and he said, "You are going to be a speaker." This guy is like a cool Indian guy, like 61 years old. And I said, "What?" He said, "You are going to be a speaker." I said, "And speak about what?" He said, "You're going to share your story." I said, "I don't have a story." He said, "Yes, you do." I said, "No, I don't." For 3 months, he invited me to speak in front of 10 teenagers that we had that gathered as a prayer group in our school every Friday. And he said, "Nick, come and share your story. Just for 10 minutes, just come and share your story." For 3 months, I said, "No, no, 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 no." He finally twisted my arm and I went. During the speech, some people were crying and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're crying. Like, that's really good acting. Thank you for making me feel so good. Then my phone started ringing. Can you come speak here? Can you come speak there? Can you come speak there? Just very, very small groups. Only 12 approximately over 2 years. Then at 19, I was speaking in front of 300 teenagers, about 16 years old, at a school. Now, I got up there and I had no idea what I was going to say. I was very, very scared. But within 3 minutes, half the girls were crying. And this one girl in the middle of the room started weeping, and she put up her hand and she said, "I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can I come up there and give you a hug?" In front of everyone, she came and she hugged me, and she cried on my shoulder, and she told me in my ear, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. No one's ever told me that they love me. No one's ever told me that I'm beautiful the way that I am." I was in shock. Because remember, if my parents didn't tell me that they loved me, and if my parents didn't tell me I was beautiful the way that I was, I wouldn't be here. I thought, how many other millions of people around the world need to hear that simple, beautiful message of hope? Millions. So I came home and I was halfway through my double degree in accounting and financial planning, 19 years old. I come in the house, Mom and Dad, I know what I want to be for the rest of my life." My dad's like, "Good. Finish school first." And I said, yes, Dad, I'll finish. And my mom, she's doing the dishes, and she's looking down at me and I'm looking up at her. She said, "So, you know what you want to be, huh?" And I said, "Uh-huh." She said, "What?" I said, "I want to be a speaker." Now, I want you to understand something, okay? My parents were refugees escaping communism, Yugoslavia in 1962. My mom's family with 9 siblings crossed the Austrian Alps and were refugees with nothing, went to Australia and started from scratch. In 1969, my dad's family, when he was 15, they escaped Yugoslavia and came to Australia in 1969. They started basically with nothing. So they had great work ethics. My dad started a church and he had 3 jobs on top of starting a church voluntarily. That was the work ethic of my parents. They worked really hard, and it was never in the mind of my parents that anyone at any time anywhere could make a living simply out of speaking. They totally saw it as a hobby that would fade away. Furthermore, in Australia, in the year 2001, 2002, there were hardly any people knowing anything about motivational speaking. Australians flew motivational speakers from America because there were no motivational speakers really in Australia at the time. It was very infant. So here I am telling my mom I want to be a speaker, and she's freaking out. She's like, "A speaker?" I said, "Uh-huh." She said, "What you gonna speak about?" "I don't know." "Well, put you down." She said, "Do you have any invitations?" I said, "No." She said, "How are you going to get them?" "I don't know." She said, "Well, I mean, like, do you know a speaker? Do you know anything about marketing yet?" And all these sorts of things. I said, "No, I don't know." But I knew one thing. That memory of that girl hugging me and looking her in the eye was my purpose. That was worth more than making millions and millions and billions of dollars in any business, because money can't buy hope. What happened was, my parents told me to finish university. I did. But I still wanted to start my speaking career. So I don't like reading books. I mean, I write books, but I don't really read many books. I didn't know any speakers really at the time. I didn't have money to get a speaking coach, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I went the old-fashioned way. I picked up the phone and started calling schools and asking if I could go and speak. Now, I had no marketing skills at all, had no idea how to pitch myself, and so the first call went like this. "Hello? Hi. My name is Nick, and I'm a speaker, and I was wondering if I can come and speak at your school." and hang up the phone. Was that a failure? Yes. Am I a failure? No. So what did I do? I didn't call the same school. I called another one. Hello, my name is Nick Vujicic, and I have no arms and no legs. What? I said, my name is Nick Vujicic, and I have no arms and I have no legs. How are you holding the phone? Finally asked if I could speak at a school, and she said, no, thank you. I called 9 schools. I called 18 schools. I called 27 schools. I called 33 schools. I called 40 schools. I called 49 schools. I called 52 schools, and they all said no. But every time I failed, it was an education. Here's point number 5. Obstacles equals opportunity. Obstacles equals opportunity. If I have an obstacle in marketing, it's an opportunity to learn about marketing. It's funny, right? All these people that I see in life, they're walking along, and bang, they run into an obstacle, and they're like, I can't do this. And 6 months later, they don't know how, but they just get through it. Think of the last 6 months. Think of the last 12 months. You had an obstacle and you were crying, I can't do it, I can't do it. Are you here? Yeah. Did you get through it? Yeah. Then you hit another obstacle. I can't do this. Set small goals, and as you set small goals, your confidence builds. And as you get through past obstacles, remind yourself of who you are and what you've been through, and give yourself a little bit more credit and a little bit more grace. So the 53rd phone call went like this. Hello, my name is Nick Vujicic, and I'm a professional motivational speaker, and I was wondering if I can come and speak at your school about bullying, self-esteem, dreaming big, and never giving up. And she said, okay. And I'm like, what do I do now? I don't know what to say. So I said, great. Can you pay? She said, it's not for free. And I said, no. She said, well, how much? And I said, oh, $50. She said, okay. She said, can you come next week? I said, uh-huh. She said, next Tuesday, is that fine? I said, that's fine. I said, thank you so much. She said, thank you. So I was writing down the address with my foot. And she says, we can't wait to see you. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye. And I said, no, bye-bye. Thank you. Hung up the phone. And I'm like, yes! Success! And then I looked at the map. When you start calling 53 schools, you start calling schools that are not in your city. I looked at the map and I'm like, oh no, how am I going to get there? It's a 2.5-hour drive. Maybe if I start walking now, I'll get there on time. So I didn't want to ask my parents for help because they didn't believe in my dream. And so my 16-year-old brother, he's watching TV like this. And I walk in the room, I said, hey. And he says, hey. And I said, hey, how you doing? He said, fine. I said, Aaron, I got some good news. He said, oh, yeah? He said, what's that? I said, I got a school who wants me to go and speak. Oh, that's nice. well, you want me to take you, huh? I said, please. You don't understand. I worked so hard to get this invitation. He said, well, where is it? I said, I have the address. I didn't lie. He said, well, when is it? I said, next Tuesday. He said, oh, no, I can't do next Tuesday. I'm busy. I said, you're busy? He said, yeah, I'm busy. I said, what you doing? He said, nothing. So now I'm understanding that if I'm trying to start a business in speaking, the worst thing anyone can do is finally when you get your invitation that you can't get there. So I told my brother, I'll pay you $50. And he said, okay. So now it's Tuesday and we're driving. He's driving me and the houses are starting to disappear. And he says, where is this place? Who lives out here, man? Did you even ask how many people you're speaking to? And I said, no. He said, what do you mean, no? You should ask that. I said, I don't know what I'm doing, man. He said, do you even know how long you're speaking for? And I said, no. And we get to the school and I politely greet and hug the principal and I say, thank you so much for having me. They said, no, thank you for coming. Nick, we're so excited. I said, yes, so am I just have 2 questions. I'm just wondering if you can tell me, how long would you like me to speak for? Remember, 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back, 5 hours. About 5 minutes. On the inside, I died. On the outside, my brother laughed his head off. So I'm trying to compose myself. I'm thinking, okay, if it's 5 minutes, maybe it's a huge crowd. That would be a great experience if it's a big crowd. For 5 minutes. So I said, and how long would you, and how many people do we have to talk to today? I was so excited. 10. Oh my goodness. I was so upset. My brother, I mean, he was crying because of his laughing, right? And so while I'm speaking there on stage, I hear these voices in my head. I see, Nick, you should have listened to your parents. They knew that you should just stick to the basics. You just need to be an accountant. You know, blah, blah, blah. Nick, you can't dream. You'll never be a speaker. Nick, you're not good at this. You're a failure. 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 Just give up. Just give up. You'll never be a speaker. While I'm speaking, these voices trying to bring me down. 5 minutes go. People like it. I get my $50. Give it to my brother. On the way home, I pay for the petrol. I get home and I told my brother, don't tell mom and dad. My mom said, how was it? I said, yeah, it was good. And I went to my room, closed the door, went to bed, didn't want to wake up. You know, I wanted to sleep in. I didn't want to do anything. And my phone starts ringing in the morning. You know, teenagers, how much we love sleep. Yeah. So at 8:30 in the morning, my phone rings. I let it go. Man, who's calling me, man? So early. What is going on? It's 8:30. Second time. Oh, man. Just want to go to sleep. So upset from yesterday. I'm like so sad, not motivated at all to do anything. Third time. I pick up the phone. Hello?
Hi, is this Nick Vujicic, a motivational speaker?
Yes, hello, hi, good morning, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
we heard that you're a wonderful, wonderful speaker. Oh, thank you, thank you. She kept on saying, oh, we heard about what you did yesterday. It's such a great message. Please, our school needs someone like you. We know you must be so busy. But we will do anything it takes to bring you to our school. Please come, please come. Can you please come? We'll do whatever it takes. What do we need to do to get you to our school? And I said, let me check my schedule. Then I went and spoke at that school. Then I got 2 more invitations. I did those schools. I did 4 invitations. Then I did those 4 schools and I got 8 invitations. I did those 8 schools and I got 16 invitations. I personally have put $0 into marketing. Word of mouth was how it started for me. And I wanted to be as best as a speaker as I could be, that in the future, I would be leveraged in a way that other people market on our behalf. That is very hard to do in the speaking career. Very hard. But it's possible. For me, I had many obstacles. I changed it into opportunities. Point number 6. Right? That's where we are, point number 6. Dream big. Point number 7, never, ever, ever give up. This is in life. And point number 8, faith. So the ABC of the most essential things in life: the truth of your value, the truth of your purpose, the truth of your destiny. You will not reach your full potential until you seek it. You will not seek it until you believe it's there. Faith. Did you ever think that my parents imagined that I would be a speaker going 49 countries, meeting 9 presidents, speaking in crowds as large as 110,000, largest TV audience, 270 million, my book's #1 in 7 countries, being a best actor in a short film, producing my own music video and singing a song, being a founder, president, CEO of a nonprofit organization, helping many, many people around the world? At 30 years old, 1.3 billion people know something about me. I've even been on the front page of Saudi Arabia newspapers, and I've never been to Saudi Arabia. Be thankful. You don't know what you can achieve until you try it. When you fail, try again. Failure equals education. Change your obstacles into opportunities. Dream big, never give up, and have faith. That is how my life from a life without limbs into a life without limits has transformed. And if it wasn't for my faith in God, I totally respect everyone as a human being with the freedom of choice in which religion you believe in. That's fine. I'm not forcing anyone to follow my religion. And I don't even want anyone to applaud after me, because if you have the same religion, you're going to applaud. But I do not want to divide anyone in that way. But yes, I am a Christian, and I do believe in God, and I do believe in heaven. And one of the greatest things that I've realized in life is that when I don't get a miracle, I can still be a miracle for someone else. About 7 years ago, I met, yeah, you can applaud that if you want. Seven years ago, I met a little boy with no arms, no legs. And I met him at a speaking engagement, put him up here, 19-month-old Daniel, no arms, no legs, little foot just like me. Couldn't give him a high five, so I gave him a low 2. My mom hugged his mom, my dad hugged his dad. They were crying. Daniel was smiling. He loved it. He loved seeing me. And I told his mom when he's 6 years old, I'll go to his school in case he's getting teased at school. I went to his school last year, talked about bullying, and now he's the coolest kid on the block. Nick, if you had a choice to have arms and legs or not, what would you choose? Just the way I am. Just the way I am. Arms and legs will come to me up there in heaven. And when I see this boy running to me with his new arms and his new legs, and I hug him with my new arms, when you have the perspective of billions and billions of years in eternity, believing that that's real. For me, what's 90 years? Without arms and legs, hey, at least I don't get arthritis like you're going to get arthritis. So God is a very important part in my life. So my top 3 priorities is my faith. I pray every day. I believe there's a greater purpose for everyone. And the second most important thing in my life is family. And then thirdly is my mission. Whether it's in the corporate world or in the faith world, my mission is to reach more people with a message of love and a message of hope. And I really thank you, Singapore, for your welcome. I really thank you for having me here. I thank you for the wonderful feedback that I'm getting from people who are reading my books. And if you want to know more about where I get some people, they say, yeah, I want your value, I want, your perspective, I want your positivity, but then they don't take it a step further and really find out where their inspiration gets their inspiration from. And so that's also why I'm really glad that we have a Q&A session right now for 10 minutes. And I'm going to be choosing the questions from here. But I just want you to know that with those priorities of faith, family, and then mission, if you want to know more about my life and my faith and my joy and purpose and encouraging you, simply go to lifewithoutlimbs.org. And it's there. If you don't want to hear about anything about my faith, don't go there. Simple. But if you are interested in also following us around the globe, please follow us on Facebook. Anyone on Facebook? Yeah, like 3 of you. Yeah. Find me tonight. Yeah, we've got 1.5 million followers right now. 650,000 people talking to us. It's got to be in the 1% of all Facebook accounts. And so really come along. And really was touched by meeting a Muslim family with a girl with no arms, no legs. And that's on the Facebook as well. And just we had a wonderful time of fellowship. We had dinner and tried to encourage their parents as much as possible. So we love everyone, and I just hope that everyone has been encouraged tonight. Thank you all very, very much for your love. Thank you. So we have 8 minutes and 40 seconds left before I have to close, and so I don't want to get handcuffed up here. But right now I want to ask you, did you enjoy tonight? If you have a question, now is your time to run up to a microphone, because we only have 7 minutes left. We're only going to probably get 3 maximum. If you don't ask, you won't know the answer to your question.
Hello, I'm right up here. Can you see me?
My left or my right?
Right up, like up.
Wow, hi.
Hi.
Wow, how you doing?
Great.
Are you scared of heights?
Totally not.
Excellent.
But anyway, I want to ask you, what's your next big dream?
Great.
What's the next thing you're aiming for?
Yep, thank you so much for your question. We are working on a free online magazine translated in 20 languages. 80% of my books are sold in Asia. And so we actually want to help Asia to not just be encouraged when I go to the country, but while I'm out of the country. The next step, we're going to be making a movie in about 3 or 4 years, hopefully. And then 5 years from now, would you like to see that film? Yeah? I'm glad you're so excited. And then 5 years from now, approximately, we're going to be launching our internet-based TV talk show. So that's the 5-year plan. 7-year plan is to go to 50 countries with my wife and my son. But the ultimate goal for me is to really leave a legacy of helping the next generation understand that the power of changing the world is at their fingertips. In 2007, a very, very dear friend of mine, Elim Chu, I met her. She's here, third row from the front. And she is a dear friend of mine who opened my eyes to the power of multiplication. The multiplication effect and power of when we come together and help people. There are 1 billion people who are hungry today. And our goal in all these things are not just to motivate people emotionally and mentally, but my goal one day before I die, and I hope it's going to be happening at least in the next 5 years, we want to get together a platform of 10 million people worldwide who give $1 a month, and 100% goes to feeding children, medicating the sick, building houses for homeless, helping people all around the world. Sorry. Yes.
Hi. I was wondering, how were you able to maintain your faith in God when you were overcoming these obstacles when you were younger?
What a fantastic question. So, obviously, as a Christian, I read the Bible. I know that everyone has a different religion. So, trying to answer your question, for me, as a kid, it was hard to continue to have my faith. It was the turning point at 13 where I became thankful, taking one day at a time, setting small goals. And every day, my mom and dad saying, God has a plan for you. Don't worry about it. God has a mighty, mighty plan for you. You don't see it yet, but it's coming. That was hard to listen to sometimes because I couldn't see it. But at age 15, I saw that miracle that happened to the blind man. And I thought, wow, if God has a plan for the blind man, then he has a plan for me. And he healed the blind man. And what happened for me was, I thought, wow, man, I'm going to get a pair of shoes just in case God gives me arms and legs. And I actually did. I have a pair of shoes in my closet just in case I get a miracle. Because I've seen blind people seeing and deaf people hearing and actual miracles happening. Many people I prayed for, the miracles didn't happen, but there were some miracles that happened. So what happened was then, at that time, I realized that faith is actually trusting that God has a plan. And he doesn't have to tell you the A, B, C, and X, Y, Z of his plan for you. Because if he told you everything, then you don't need faith. Does that make sense? Right? So this is the beautiful thing, that when I said, okay, God, come into my life. I want to believe in more than just living on earth for 90 years. And if you don't change my body, change my heart, heal me, give me your peace, give me your restoration, give me the forgiveness that I need, that I know that I have a plan that's greater than anything that I could see. You have that plan. I don't want to live my way. I don't want to live in my strength, because I fail me every day. But I know he'll never fail me. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Nick. Thanks a lot for your inspirational talk. Can I ask you, what would you say to a kid who has totally lost interest in a subject and lost faith?
Lost interest totally in the subject within the school subject?
Yes.
And then has no faith?
Yes.
Okay. So for a child who has no faith, first of all, when you do have faith, that's when you remind yourself of the promises of understanding that there is a greater purpose for you, there is a greater strength that you can have through you to carry you when you cannot walk. You know, teenagers today without faith, I want to ask you a question. Do they say YOLO? YOLO, right? You only live once, right? And because there's this culture of basically even, and this is not just in Singapore, it's in the world. If you only live once, then why care about school? That's what they're thinking. We're going to understand where they're coming from. If I only live once, then I can do drugs if I want. That's what people think. I can get drunk. I want to get drunk because everybody else is getting drunk. I want to be cool, so I'm going to use the F word. I can do whatever I want because YOLO. So the first thing I would tell that person is come with me to go feed the homeless and come to the hospitals and visit the children who are dying of cancer, who feel like they have no hope. You think they have no hope, but there is a hope that's even greater than all the circumstances in this world, including death itself, and that child may be actually inspired to, first of all, not take things for granted, be thankful for what they have, and actually a great healing medicine for the heart is going out and serving someone else who does not have what you have. And if you only live once, that's such a short life. I lived twice. I want in my life to believe that how I love people, how I treat people, how I communicate people can affect their lives now and for eternity. So sober their mind up and help them to not be so selfish. I need this, I need that. No, go and help the poor. That's what my parents did to me. They say, pray for the poor people who don't have food today. And my first international trip was giving $20,000 of my own money to African orphans and raising another 20 grand for them in South Africa, for South Africans. And I want you to know today, plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds. All you can do is love and encourage them and share the truth, but you can't take care of the growing. Do your best. My parents always said, God will do the rest. Thank you so much.
Please help me welcome two Singaporeans who every day reach beyond adversity, Aisha Samad and Jason Shi.
Hi.
Okay. Love you. Thank
Love you
Jason.
too.
Hi, Nick.
Love you.
I love you, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I know the two of you are very excited about this. We've talked about it and planned this moment for the longest time. I'm going to start by asking each of you to tell Nick how you first heard about his story.
Okay, before my accident, I do not know who is Nick Vujicic. Once after my accident, when I was in the ICU in Changi General Hospital, I had a struggle. I almost want to give up. And my doctor who rescued me, who is here, attending here.
Your doctor is here?
Yes, Dr.
What's his
Chua.
name?
Dr. Chua. Yes, he also gave me 3 books of Nick Vujicic of his collections. And he tell more about Nick Vujicic's life and tell me to become him. Yes. So I read his books during my stay in the hospital. I study a lot of his videos, and I want to be like him.
Well said, Jason. Thank you.
Yes.
Aisha, tell us how you first learned about Nick. Tell Nick.
Okay, initially when I was in the hospital itself, after my amputations, my life was I was so down, I was very devastated. I have these thoughts of committing suicide because being from an active person, I cannot even drink a glass of water right in front of my face. So When I wanted to commit suicide, I thought of my family, which is going to be like very unfair. Then I asked them, I asked the people around me if there's anybody like me. And then they said, yes, there's people without limbs, born without limbs or accidents, and then there's no limbs. So I browsed through the YouTube and I saw Nick. I saw Nick and he did everything. He did talks. He inspires me. He gives me hopes. He really motivates me. And if he can do it, why can't I? I was wondering because every time I saw inside the YouTube, Nick is smiling from ear to ear, and he was like, "Oh my God, where did he get this this energy? That don't he ever feel down, or can I just know how do you deal with frustrations or like anger? Like you never manage to have something that you want to be done. How do you really overcome those kind of things?"
That's such a great question. When I was a child, there were many things that I could not do, and I had to accept that. And I'm grateful that my dad pushed me in mathematics, because every time I was frustrated in something that I could not do, or when people bully and tease me, I came back to the knowledge that I was top in my class in mathematics. And that was a confidence booster in saying, I may not be able to run like you, but I'm going to beat you at maths, man. And so there's that competitive spirit. And, we all have some gift, something that we do best. I don't even care if it's a video game. If you're good at video games, great. Use it as a confidence booster. Not an ego booster, but all I'm saying is to not say that you're worthless, right? I actually came home one day after being teased all day, and I looked myself in the mirror, and I knew I had no arms, no legs, and that was a problem. Couldn't change it. But I said to myself, but you have beautiful eyes, and no one can change it. And so focus on what you do have, and know that the eyes are your eyes are the windows to your soul. And who you are matters more than what you can do. And so that's when I realized a switch. One day at a time, frustrations come and go. But with maturity, you start developing the definition between things that you cannot change or things that you can change. And when you determine that, then you keep on moving forward and trying to be a miracle along the way. So it's a journey, it's a process. And I understand that happened last year to you. And that's very fresh and very raw, I've met a lot of people who just had accidents, and it takes a longer time for them to really even smile. So I really applaud both of you. Thank you so much for inspiring all of us. I really appreciate you.
Jason, when you were in hospital, so many Singaporeans came forward to donate O+ blood because they knew you needed it.
Yes.
And people, I think, are happy to rally around and help in any way. Aisha, I know you have a question about feeling like a burden sometimes that you want to put to Nick.
Yeah, I have this particular questions that really bothers me, because being an independent person from teenage until an adult, and then this happened to me last year, I have to depend everything on everybody. Like, I need a drink, I need to eat, I need to go pool, I need to go anything, everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm so sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
So how do I overcome it?
I want you to know that I, first of all, again, say that you guys are going through something more difficult than I did, period. Because I just grew up knowing that I needed help, right? And it's so hard to understand that you need help. And at 13 years old, my friend asked, so what about your dignity? If your parents help you out with everything, where's your dignity? I didn't know what dignity meant. So I started to become independent as much as I could. I learned how to brush my teeth, comb my hair, dress myself up, shower myself, take care of all my personal hygiene. But it took me an hour and a half to get ready in the morning, and it was just very, very tiring. Once I could prove to myself that I became independent, I then had caregivers later on in life, 23, 24 years old. And knowing that it's okay to ask for help. A lot of cultures, we're shy to ask for help. We feel like, oh, well, now I need to ask for help for the rest of my life, and I feel like a burden. and all those sorts of things. But you still are who you are. And when you realize the joy of knowing that others can partake in your success to come because they've helped you, you know, your family loves you because they want the best for you. But when you actually find your best, you can all share together in that joy because you were one team to get you there. And so that's the greatest thing. That's the tangible, unconditional love that is shown. And I look at you, and then I look at you, and then I want to share with you. In my first book, I dedicated my first book to Philip Toth, who at 22 years old, he was on a bus and he fell, and he couldn't feel his legs. Then he could stand up all of a sudden. It was really weird. Then the next day, he couldn't speak. His tongue was paralyzed for about an hour, and he didn't know what was going on. Then they had symptoms after symptoms, and 12 months later, they diagnosed him with Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. Your body, your muscles, your everything in your body shuts down slowly and painfully, and it's horrible. He was given 3 months to live. He lived another 5 years. I met him 2 years before he died. And, you know, for me and him, we believed in heaven, so, you know, I'm going to die. If I don't die of cancer, I'm going to die of a car crash. If I don't die of a car crash, I'll die of a plane crash. If I don't die of that, I'm going to die of old age. Get over it, I'm going to die, right? So death is that, but it's not the end of my life, and that's why we have hope. And because Philip had that faith, he actually didn't feel sorry for himself. He actually, with the laser technology, started using his head to type on the computer. And he started a website that encouraged hundreds and hundreds of bedridden people and terminally ill. And so I looked at that guy who couldn't, when I met him, he couldn't talk, he couldn't walk, but he inspired hundreds of people. And I thought to myself, wow, if he's doing that, what am I doing? What could I do? I can walk, I can talk, I can travel, I can do more than him, but he's done more than I. And so that's really challenged me to really start being a speaker 11 years ago, and I share that because he was a huge inspiration to me.
Aisha is looking forward to her arms, her prosthetic arms. I know you are looking forward to your prosthetic legs. Jason, you have a question on prosthetics for Nick?
Oh, yes. I want to know that what is the main reason that you don't want to have a prosthetic arm and leg?
I had prosthetic arms when I was 6 years old, and I was at the time 10 kilos. Each arm weighed about 3. And it wasn't because the biceps were big. Anyway, so I was able to function, but at that time I was already 6, 7, 8. I already learned how to write with my foot, and they wanted me to start writing with this thing, and it's basically attached like a torso harness. I had to move my whole body to write. I'm like, this is stupid, right? and I'm like, I know how to write with my foot. I'm just going to write with my foot, and I'm going to type with my foot, and I'm going to walk without them because, you know, I get hot in them and all these sorts of things. Without arms and legs, I'm sure that you get warmer than everyone else because arms and legs, the skin is like the radiator to the body temperature. So, quite frankly, us three were very hot people. So, when you have robotic arms, that's also, you know, making, you know, me warmer. And so, are there different technologies out there? Yeah, but look, to be quite honest, in the last 20 years, there's been a lot of advances, more not in the actual motors, but more in the how you activate the motors. You know, they can actually, you know, move an arm robotically with just thinking. But I still see that technology on TV, and I still see the motors. It's still hard to control and be sensitive to how fast and how hard a grip is. The movement is still limited. Even if I found the best bionic arms that I had, because I was born this way, my body is developed and evolved with the way that the center point of gravity on my body has shifted to the left. So I have a 55-degree curve. I have a scoliosis. So my tailbone is on an angle, and so is my whole back. Rib cage is twisted like this. And because of my back pain, even when I have a thick sweater on, it starts giving me back pain. So I just, first of all, I don't need them. I'm okay without them. And I'm happy without them. But really, medically speaking, I would never do it just because of my back pain alone. So I just couldn't have that opportunity. So yeah.
Now, Aisha, I know, is a perfectionist who wanted to know something about Nick in that regard, right, Aisha?
Yep. My sister labeled me as perfectionist. I got frustrated when things are not done my way. So I always get angry easily, especially nowadays. I'm not sure why. Maybe my battery is going low, even though I give talks, but I think it's running low. And then because due to too much frustrations and anger, I just do not know how to overcome it. It's like it just comes naturally that how hard I try to hold back is still there. And then, sometimes my word could hurt others that I don't do it deliberately. So is there any way that you could advise me?
The only way that I've been able to go where I go and do what I do is because we've learned to delegate and find trustworthy people to help. Now, I'm going to get directly back to your question, but just come away with me for a second, right? We can't do anything without a team. So you need teams of people to do what you need to do. And if I give someone a task, they're not going to do it exactly like I want. And if I micromanage, just give them the bones and they'll do it. And if they can, it'll be great. The hardest thing that I've actually come across is managing people. As far as, I am a perfectionist. You ask my awesome caregiver, Udi. Oh my gosh, I'm a perfectionist. You ask my wife, I am a perfectionist. Nothing can be crooked, it has to be straight. The way that they hold the cup, the way how fast they feed me, two spoons for me, 2 spoons for them, and if you're too slow, I'm going to tell you you're too slow, because I'm hungry. And you ask my wife, what's my mood when I'm hungry? I'm not like this. I'm hungry. I'm like, I'm hungry, come on, let's do this. So we all have that, right? We all have that human aspect. And so the beauty in this is understanding what you can let go of and what you don't have to. And no one's perfect. And I want people to work with me, not because I pay them, but just because they want to work with me. And then because they get paid, not the other way around.
Jason has a girlfriend, but he's already looking ahead. And you wanted to ask Nick a question about dealing with marital conflict, right?
Yes. Yeah, I just want to know which is the unhappiness time with your wife. I know there's some ups and downs with your wife.
Yeah. I would say the greatest day with me and my wife is when I met her and we fell in love. Definitely that. And then when I proposed and when she said yes. And then the greatest day after that would be when our son Kiyoshi was born. It was unbelievable. He actually still had fluid in his lungs the first, 30 seconds. And the doctor was, pulling out the umbilical cord, having Kiyoshi on her left arm, face down. And they say that newborn babies cannot really see past 30 centimeters. I was 70 to 80 centimeters away from him. And he was laying down. And the doctor was holding up his chin so, his head wouldn't flop. Holding his chin, not looking or seeing which way he's looking. And he was closing his eyes and he opened his eyes. And he looked straight at me. Before his first breath, before his first cry, he looked at me for about a good long 3 seconds. And it was just, wow. It was amazing. And to see my wife in labor, so much pain, I can't imagine. I really tip my hat off to all the women. Oh my goodness.
And on that note, I'd like to say thank you to Aisha Sama, Jason Chi, and Nick Vujicic. Show them your love.
now.